Right then, Robbie, I've got the first 3 winners tomorrow. What about you, mate?
You got the first 3 winners, mate. Well, I've got the last 4.
Perfect. We're ready. Let's go.
Vamos.
You got a pass?
Pretty sure that was your job, mate.
I've left my wallet in the office.
Yeah, well, all my gear's in there as well.
Why are we going to... Guys, hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Let us in.
Hello? Don't worry, we made it. But myself and Robbie Wilder stuck like Ryan Moore from box 1 on the round track over 2.5 miles. What a first day of Royal Ascot it has been, and what a day too we've got lined up for you as well. It doesn't get better a first day of a big job than Field of Gold. Absolutely romping home under Colin Keane, confirming his authority as the best of his generation and possibly the best of any generation this season with that demolition job over Henri Matisse. Elsewhere, it was pretty much par for the course in the Coventry. Ryan Moore, the only horse that wasn't drawn box 1, managed to win, went straight down the middle and won the Coventry for a yard, who make that look very, very easy indeed. Elsewhere, Docklands, who knew? Maybe he wasn't putting it all in because he didn't want to be whipped. Drop your whip, and he goes on to beat Rosalien on the nod. And interesting, of course, that Rosalien had form tied in with Hartem in the Guineas last year, and Hartem got back to winning ways in the Wolverton Stakes. And there was there wasn't a dry eye in Scotland, certainly, as American Affair rattled home to win for Jim Goldie and Paul Mulrennan in the big sprint. That's how you put it up to him, for sure. You don't need to spend £2 million at the Breeze Ups. You just need to get a Group 3 winner about 15 years ago and breed off a dam that you bought 25 years ago. It's easy. Just follow Jovial Jim. What do we got for you tomorrow? Well, we've got, of course, Los Angeles trying to fight off the likes of Anne Martin, Ombudsman, as well in the Prince of Wales tomorrow, over 10 furlongs. We're going to find out whether Carl Burke can do it again in the Queen Mary, and we've got a big cavalry charge in the Royal Hunt Cup, and much, much more besides as well. We are live and interactive. We were aiming for 1,500 likes on the show in total this week, and we got, I think, how many did we get last night? So we got in the first one last night. You've absolutely stepped to the plate. 620 last night. So really, I mean, look, we went for targets at the start of the week. The viewers, you are absolutely smashing it. Pundits, they're going to have to step up to the plate and get it going from day 2. Robbie Wilder's.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. Sat in Graham Mulberry's seat at the moment, so...
He didn't have a bad day at all, did he? Docklands?
Nah, didn't. Yeah, Docklands.
French Master.
One for the great minds. Myself, Mr. Melrose, Mr. Rodway put heads together, come down on Docklands. So that was
it was
nice.
an odd one.
Yeah, it's a new feature. Yeah, it was a weird race.
There was whips flying all over the place.
Yeah, first of all, I thought Rosalien won, and then you looked back and it looked like he actually got there quite comfortably in Docklands. Just goes to show that we were making too much overall of that Lockinge form. The other 3 in the Lockinge were nowhere to be seen, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And elsewhere, what did you make of the rest of the day?
Yeah, Field of Gold, wow. A few people saying he looks like the best miler since Frankel. I don't know if I'd go that far. I think since Baid, certainly. Yeah. Would you say he's better than Baid?
I think he's... Well, Baid got going... It was a very different time, but going a lot later, wasn't it? Didn't he? And it was interesting that Baid's sort of time in the sun was fairly brief in the grand scheme of things. If he comes back next year, or even if he steps up to 10 and does it at Sandown or York, then we're talking a proper horse. But he looks a proper horse.
Oh, he does, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see that now going forward another couple of furlongs, because he just shapes like he could potentially be even better over that trip, and that's exciting. Why not try and become the best in the world at 2 different specialist trips?
Absolutely.
That's an exciting prospect.
I think it is. I mean, to be fair, given some of his relatives on the dam side, 1.5 miles next year isn't entirely out of the question. But Tom Segal, you were at Ascot today in all your finery, sweated cobs, I imagine. What was your highlight?
Got a Field of Gold by miles. It's funny, you go to lots of race meetings, and the reason I keep doing it is to see really good horses. I don't see many that often these days. I saw one today. I think he's just a superstar. I don't see any. I don't think he'll go up. I thought his worst furlong was his last furlong. He probably went for home, a couple of furlongs too soon. I think he's all speed. He can win any race he wants over a mile. I don't think there's a horse in the world that would beat him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know what you mean about the last furlong, but I kind of felt like Colin Keane rode him in a sense of, look, I'm not getting caught by taking too long. I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. It felt like it was a no-nonsense, right, I'm kicking off the bend, I'm on the best horse, I'm just going to win it here.
I think he just thought that they just stopped in front, and he's going so well on a horse that's just miles better than the others that you just get sort of left in front. I think he got left in front probably a furlong sooner than he was expecting.
Yep. And
therefore, what can you do? He's the best. He's a superstar horse, isn't he? And that's what we go to see. All due respect to your Docklandses and your American Affairs, they're good horses. Great to see them win. They deserve it, but they're not superstars by any stretch of the imagination. We know that Field of Gold is, and that's what gets me excited. That's why I go horse. That's why I like horse racing.
Yeah,
I couldn't care less about the betting and stuff. I really, really like watching good horses run, and that was what he was. You've just got sporting excellence sort of pumping through your brain at all times, haven't you, Tom? Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like in all sports. You know what I mean? A bit like we were talking earlier about the Open Golf, the US Open the other day. It was a bit of a mismatch, wasn't it? You didn't really see any good play. You sort of don't fall in love with it. When you see Tiger Woods play or when you see Rory play, you sort of think, gee, that is something special. I am watching something special here, something that one person on the planet can do.
Carlos Alcaraz, Tom. That's that. I mean,
exactly.
I could watch Carlos Alcaraz play tennis from morning till night and not get bored.
And there we go. And that's what Field of Gold did for me today. It was what he did, something that one horse on the planet can do, and it was him, and it's him.
Was there anything at all from the other races that you thought, for example, a French Master or a Gustard that could potentially next year develop into not necessarily a Field of Gold, but is there anything going to the very top from the other races today, or
I was just been driving home, so I didn't see French Master. So I have no idea what happened about. I mean, I understand he won very easily. He looks like, to be honest, that was one of the races that was a bit of a mishmash, wasn't it? There wasn't that much quality in there, but clearly he's miles better than them. Gustard looked very good. Got a very good no-nonsense ride, I thought. Right, you know what I mean? He was drawn in the middle, he stayed in the middle, and he won in the middle. Wasn't that, you know what I mean? The sprint was one on this side. The first race was one on the, you know what I mean? The first race they went the far side. There's no advantage. Don't play the draw. Play your horse to its best advantage. So that's what Ryan Moore did. I have to admit, being there, it didn't strike me that they were a brilliant bunch.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination, you know how sometimes you're at the races and you sort of think, that was good, that wasn't. It didn't strike me that they were that good, but he was clearly miles the best, wasn't he? He was the best every step of the way, so he could be very good. I'm not quite sure how far he'll stay being by Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, fair enough. Might have to disagree slightly with Tom, Robbie, given that the 5 furlong sprint was 16, beat 15, beat 17, beat 14.
Oh, I didn't even clock that.
So there might be. Look, again, it does tend to get worse as the week goes on. One thing we definitely don't want, as we saw, you do not want to be burrowing down that rail on the round track. You can get around your draw by switching. I thought French Master was given a really good ride, but I mean, reaching high was painful
that
to
was
watch.
nasty. I quite liked him. Yeah, I think in another draw he could have won that. I know he's beaten about 6-7 lengths, but yeah, made for grim reading. It just goes to show that the risk of that low draw on the round track in these sort of 1 mile 4+ races is not nice.
All right.
Yeah, and interesting, guys. I've just seen the last 2 races now while we were talking there, and obviously Ryan Moore decided from stall 1 to make the running, and that's what we were sort of saying last night, wasn't it? Your options are completely limited when you're drawn in stall 1 on that round course. You sit last.
Yeah, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, to an extent, aren't you? Yeah.
Exactly. So it takes out all the options. So I don't know. All those who back Sons and Lovers and Charles were probably, barking up the wrong tree. Not because they were the wrong horses or the best handicapped or anything. Just their chances were compromised by only having 2 options. You either go forward or you take your medicine.
Lovely stuff. Right, we'll get on to day 2 in just a second. All right. Don't forget to look at that members club and subscribe. We've got loads coming up on Racing Post. Plus, of course, you get the tips from Keels and Tom before everyone else. We'll have more great minds as well teaming up for Docklands. I wonder what they've gone for tomorrow. And of course, David Jennings is going to be talking about a horse in the Royal Hunt Cup, the Liffey, who happened to be backed in from hundreds and are currently sitting at 5-1 second favourite. And Tom, do you have any idea what could have caused the start of that avalanche?
Who knows?
Absolutely.
Anyone's guess.
Anyone's guess. They'll be throwing you in the Liffey if that wins, I think. But right, first race on day 2 then is the Queen Mary, a Group 2 over 5 furlongs for the fillies, and True Love is 11-4. Again, the Ballydoyle boys teaming up to try and win a race that they can't win. It's 3-1 Zelena, Society Kiss 8-1, Lenaloo 8-1, Spicy Marge is 10-1, Stayer 11-1, Cardiff by the Sea 12s, Harry's Girl is 14-1. And you've got Revival Power, you've got Secret Hideaway, who's the Mary Gate winner, of course, Love Olivia, who wasn't too far behind there, Solana Rose, who dotted up at Ripon last time out, Paris Carver, who thought ran quite well on debut, and a few others at bigger prices as well. But yeah, the Queen Mary here, box 25 of 25, and has been backed for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, beaten by Gustard last time out. Of course, that has surely impacted this market move. I mean, all the rage was Zelena last week. Tom, of course, won the same race that Carl Burke pretty much uses as a springboard for this race. Beautiful Diamond and
Leavarni.
Leavarni, there we go. Completely went over my head there. She was very short. She's now gone back to a more reasonable price, and True Love has been backed in. But I don't know, the market's almost treating it like a 2-horse race.
Yeah, well, they're back in. True Love is obviously on the back of the Gustard form, Alan Gustard, as we called him last night. It's that she was obviously second to him, so that's where the money's come from. She's also got 2 runs. She's getting better. I can see it. 11-4. That's not my game in a Queen Mary. But Gustard was what, 3-1 today? Was he 7-2? And he won by 3. I think this is probably a better race than the Colts race. I thought the Colts was pretty low on quality, if truth be told. Zelenia looked good. Time wasn't. What you'd say about her is that she's 3-1. A bit on the reputation of Carl Burke and the race she won. Yeah. Because her time was good, but it wasn't any better than half of these. I mean,
I'd go as far as to say on my figures, Tom, it's pretty shocking actually for a race of this nature. I went back and did it 3 times because it can't be. Surely it's a bit better than this, and I couldn't find a way to make it particularly good.
No, and therefore I would, but you wouldn't, you wouldn't be surprised if she won, would you?
No,
But you wouldn't back her at 3-1. That's the point. So it's a bit like Gustard earlier today, wasn't it? You don't really know what you're getting. You hadn't done that much. He looked pretty good from a good yard. Who'd won the Coventry loads of times. Alani is the same, isn't she? I'm not surprised if she wins, but I wouldn't back her at 3-1. So you don't know where to go, really. I mean, I thought the 2 that were interesting to me were Cardiff by the Sea, which is interesting because I spent 3 years at Cardiff University. I never saw the sea, but it is there, I'm told. It is there, I'm told. And Spicy Marge, they were my 2 against the field. I think Cardiff by the Sea might be in the right place. She's drawn right next to Zelania, who I think will go fast, and the American filly, Lenaloo. So she might be in the right place, but I just ended up on Spicy Marge. I just liked her a lot at Newmarket. She looked like a Queen Mary filly. I'm glad she didn't go to the Mary Gate. Dam won the Mary Gate and then missed this race. So I'm hoping it's the sort of reverse here. Spice Star Spangle Banger, Gustard's sire. They tend to go well at Ascot. I just thought she looked good. She looked big. She looked like the type of filly that would get better, and she'll do for me. I am scared of Cardiff by the Sea, and Stayer was good at Yarmouth too, but won't be surprised if True Love won. The form's obviously been really well franked.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we were talking last night, weren't we? First thought, best thought, when Spicy Marge won, and again, went and did the time, watched the replay back, looked at the pedigree and thought, crikey, right, I'm backing that for the Queen Mary. So, again, box 5 is a slight concern, given it's not even that, whether there's a draw bias or not, but if you've got True Love in 25 and Zelena in 15, and you kind of got the best horses potentially drawn high, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, even if it isn't favoured anyway. But yeah, Main Desire, she was a really good 2-year-old, and yeah, everything looks in place for Spicy Marge. What did you like?
Yeah, on my shortlist, I kind of saw it the same as you two. I couldn't believe actually opening up this card, seeing True Love as favourite. Well, I mean, it's obviously all of that is because of Justard.
Yeah, definitely.
And Zelena has now drifted to a better price than she was, because I looked at this a few days ago for the guide, and she was about 7-4 in one place.
I mean, it was
bonkers.
Absurd, wasn't it? I think it's partly because, again, it just looked, Goldberg always runs his best filly in that. Fair enough, she's absolutely dotted up. But Leovani was 20-1 last year. So
exactly, yeah. I mean, it was just no one's ever getting involved in that price, and I still wouldn't really be wanting to do that. Like you say, it wasn't a great time on a debut. A lot of these have put out good speed figures, haven't they? I thought Society Kiss, one that's not been mentioned yet, was the way I was potentially looking. Door of Arley, who won the Norfolk, looked really good on the debut at Ascot. Got the course and distance form, really good time. Equalled No Near Never's 2-year-old track record. So she's going to go on the fast ground, quickest through the final 3 furlongs. Rafe Beckett, you'd like to think she'd come forward for a run as well. Yeah, I thought she was pretty solid in terms of a once raced filly in a Queen Mary.
Yeah, it was quite surprising because he's not one for. I look back, the only sort of May filly he'd had win first time as a 2-year-old was Hello You, who finished second in the Albany on her second start. So it's a rare.
Yeah, you don't associate him with these sort of speedy early sprinters.
No,
I mean he can do what he wants, Rafe Beckett, but he's just one of those fillies I would expect to come forward a bit from the first run, and not all of these are guaranteed to do that because they're so precocious.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 more I will mention. One is Stayer, who, again, that box 4 has put me off slightly, but again, George Scott's, all his 2-year-olds have been needing the run this year, and she came up first time out at Yarmouth, and I mean, she was clueless halfway, and she wandered about a bit, and then she powered clear again. It was on fast ground, it was in a good time, it was really, really impressive for a yard who were doing really well, but definitely needing their first run. And then the other one I didn't have on the list at all, Tom, until I looked back and started looking at it in more detail earlier on, and I thought Paris Carver ran really, really well last time out. 4th behind Valentina over 6 furlongs at the Curragh. But again, classic, 5 furlongs into the race, she's still travelling, she's still in front, and she gets beaten 2 lengths by Valentina. So I thought...
No, Paris Carver was, Ross?
Oh, I don't know, but more... No, I don't.
Please,
come on,
please.
More lessons.
Enlighten us.
Here we go.
And wasn't there a Bond film where she was the wife of the evil man, Paris Carver, and she ended up obviously having a little dalliance with Bondy himself.
Yeah, she was.
What Bond film though, Tom?
Hey?
What Bond film?
I can't remember. It's the one where in the boats and
You've not narrowed it down much there, mate. To be fair, have you?
Tomorrow Never Dies.
The newspaper magnate who took over the world.
Yeah.
Who wanted to take over the world.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
What was that called?
Must admit, I don't really particularly rate James Bond films.
No, me neither.
I think they're a bit rinse and repeat. But anyway, we digress.
We do. But
That's
yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Anyway.
Played by Terry Hatcher, who of course made a name as Lois Lane and in Desperate Housewives as well. There you go. See, look, it's horse racing, it's form study, it's stats, it's draw biases, it's figures. It's also completely random cultural facts from both high and low brow culture. What else have we got? Any fancies in this? Diddly-dee-dee. No, not really. Probably have a US horse.
I like this one from Cliff. Spicy Marg wins, but don't spread it around. Well,
that's good.
You put it on a live YouTube show, mate. Interesting take.
Did you not get the joke?
No.
Margarine.
Oh,
I thought you picked out a good joke.
No. I'll take a seat.
Robbie.
Cliff, fair play, mate. You've exposed me live on air in front of 1,043 people.
Yeah.
So.
Robbie, I'm not fancy your chances on tipping point, my friend.
Absolutely. Okay, they're going to have to grease the wheels a bit there. And 1,043 people, if you are watching, make sure you like the stream right now. Do it. Go on. We're going to hit 1,500 by tomorrow. I can feel it in my bones. Okay, Queen's Vase is up next. Shackleton is 3-1 favourite. Asmarani 9-2. Rahib 5-1. Karma's 6-1. Devil's Advocate 13-2. Scandinavia 9-1. Pinhole 12-1. Further is 18-1. Spinning Wheel Too Soon. Alan Wassel Storm. Titanian Emperor and Hallelujah You do make up the field here. Sorry, and we've got 13 of them going to post. And quite an interesting renewal this year. I mean, partly from my perspective, because as soon as Amerlock won at Goodwood, I thought that's a Queen's Vase horse, and he's not here. He might go to a mile and a half later on in the week. So it's completely, first thought, best thought isn't even running in this year's Queen's Vase. The thing that stood out to me most in this, Robbie, is that every year it goes to your Galileos and your Dubawis and your proper Group 1 top class sires who stay, who prove plenty of stamina-laden 3-year-olds. We've got Camelot, Sotsas, we've got your Wharton Bassets,
you've got your Justifies. Sotsas, mate.
No, but it's just a.
He's still new to the game.
But first place I always start with the Queen's Vase is pedigrees, and I didn't think there was that many obvious Queen's Vase pedigrees.
Okay, yeah. I kind of agree. I don't think Aidan's challenge is great this year. Not really too convinced by Scandinavia or Shackleton. I thought, the what I brought up Sotsas getting a bad chip on my shoulder a bit there was because quite like this Aga Khan or some absolutely kick. I had a good look at him last week. I didn't get involved. He's coming quite a bit now. But
were you going to put him in the anti-post column? Was he not?
No, I put him in the Royal Ascot guide, but I'd never backed him. There's been support for him. Very interesting, really. The pre-dark, what's the race called? The pre-Hockart, right? It's a race to watch every year.
Yep.
Francis Graffard won it last year with Calandigan en route to winning this. Asmarani, different sort of horse, much more stamina laden. He's not got that instant turn of foot, but he ran quite well in it. It was one of those French races run at a bit of a crawl. He made up quite good ground, and the winner came out and won a Group 3 on Prix de Diane Day. So the form is there. I respect Graffard with his sort of runners over here, and I'm not seeing too much quality here. He's come a long way in a short space of time. This horse only made his debut in March, and he's the type of horse that's going to get better and better as his stamina gets teased out, I think.
And also the way he's been ridden, he's box 30 in Barcelona, it's going to be Calandigan all over again, isn't it? Very similar, I would have thought.
That's the hope, mate, yeah. None of this stall 1 nonsense.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Shackleton, Ryan Moore, box 3, so slightly better than what he's had so far this week. But again, you're a pedigrees man as well, Tom. But do you agree with me this year's Queen's Vase? I kind of looked at it and was like, well, fair enough. I mean, obviously, Frankel's your obvious starting point, I guess, in terms of stamina.
Yeah, I mean, going back through the years, it's always sort of a shoulder race, this, isn't it? One that not many people take much notice of. But if you look at the winners, it's like Illinois, Eldarov, Stradivarius, Kew Gardens. It's been proper horses win this. So, not convinced this year's that strong. I get the Asmarani line totally, simply because of the Graffard and the Aga Khan family. But it was a bit of a lummox, I thought, last time. It took an age to get going. Maybe that's what you need here. I quite like Rahib a bit. He's the pedigree one, Ross.
Yeah.
Surely, Frankel out of Playful Sound.
Fair.
That's a top class pedigree. I just think he's getting better, and he looks like a slogger to me. He looks like the type of horse that will end up running over 2 miles in proper group races. So it was him for me. Shackleton's got a bit to prove. Shackleton was probably found in Scandinavia back in the day, wasn't he? But neither of them have done much for me so far. They obviously are from the top yard. They're obviously going to. The thing about these horses is they will have been prepped for this race. Shackleton probably ran just to get himself ready for this last time. So I'm expecting him to take a big step forward, and the same with Scandinavia. So you can't rule them out by any stretch of the imagination. They're from the best yard with all the best middle distance horses nearly invariably every year. They won the Derby again, they won the Oaks again, they won every trial. So I'm not ruling out Shackleton and Scandinavia by any stretch of the imagination. They just have to do it yet. They haven't quite done it on the form. So I'd take a chance on Rahib over the Frenchman, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aidan won it again.
Yeah, I mean Shackleton, he's a trier, isn't he? He's very earnest.
Hey.
But surely again it'll be way too hot for him tomorrow, won't it? I mean,
I thought so. He'll melt.
He will. Completely different conditions. Plus he'll be exploring the home straight, won't he, to look for places that no one else has been. But yeah, Rahib, really interesting because he came off the bridle after 5 furlongs behind Merchant, didn't he? And he just kept going and going and going and going. The other slightly interesting one I thought was Devil's Advocate. Because he looked like he was going to get swamped and finish last in the Dante, and then he actually came back again and was cracking on. And again, I looked at the pedigree and I thought, oh yeah, Too Darn Hot. But then Too Darn Hot's had 5 individual runners over between mile and 6 and 2 miles. 2 of them have won and 1 has placed. Malton C for the same connections is a really strong stayer. And obviously there's plenty of stamina on the dam side. Box 9, Gosden and Buick. I just started to think, well, actually, that could run. He could run all right.
What do you think of the Dante form? Obviously, it was shown to be, or it seemed to be hopeless when they're in the Derby the other day. I'm not giving up on it just yet. I think there are excuses for nearly all the horses that ran in the Dante in the Derby. So yes, I could see where you're coming from with him.
Well, I mean, but the key thing is this ain't no Derby, is it? So that's the thing.
This definitely ain't no Derby, no. But they did finish like tailed off out the back of the telly, didn't they? Most of them. But I think there were reasons for that. I think that I think Nightwalker and Pride of Arras went a bit bonkers before the off, and I think quite a few did that in the Derby. I don't know whether they were expecting the storm and they all went a bit nuts, but the 3 calmest horses finished 1, 2, and 3, and I think that might have had something to do with the Derby, which no one. That's my reading of it, and so therefore I wouldn't be too keen to rule out the Dante form just yet, and so that brings Devil's Advocate into it, because on the dam side he's very stoutly bred.
Yeah. What do you make of it? Are you? Do you think it's too soon to write off that race in terms of form?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I still think Pride of Arras is a very good horse.
Yeah.
He just didn't show it at the Derby. Like come back down to 10. We haven't seen enough horses come out and run since. So I'm always sceptical to make these kind of snap judgments whether this is a good race or it's a bad race.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Maybe I should put my neck on the line more, but I think I'll just wait and see a month or.
Look, there's certain things. Look, you put your neck on the line for everything, you're going to get your head chopped off pretty quick.
Of course we are. Yeah, that's the game we're in. Maybe I should.
No, but I agree. I mean, I agree. It is slightly too early, and I also think that we kind of people wrote the Derby off quite quickly afterwards. That Lummox made all or whatever. Actually, the time was good, and I really like Lamborn. He's a good horse, so I actually think it could be.
I think Tennessee Studs a good horse as well.
Yeah, it could be all right
as well. So
we could come, 10 minutes after the St Ledger and go, I tell you what, that Derby and Dante form wasn't too bad.
Exactly, and it's not going to surprise no one if the line in Winter ends up winning Group 1, is it either? So.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Let's not get distracted by that.
Where's he going to go? He's going to have to bump into the old gold, isn't he? He's not beating my gold.
I tell you what, he'll be off to America or Canada, would be my prediction, potentially, to pick up one of them. Right, let's move on to the Duke of Cambridge then. We've given Queen Mary a chance. We've given the Queen's Vase a chance. Let's get a Duke in. Duke of Cambridge, Group 2, over a mile for the fillies and mares here. Just the 8 runners are out for this on the round track, and Cinderella's Dream is 15-8 favourite. Fallen Angel is 100-30. One Look 9-2. Running Lion 7s. El Malca is 12s with Soprano 14s and start of the day as well. Crimson Advocate is the outsider at 28-1, and albeit she won quite nicely last time out at Goodwood, and should be very much suited by the conditions, being a Royal Ascot winner. And of course we've seen today Ascot form back to Ascot. Works time and time again. It's a new thing that Cinderella's Dream's got to do, mind Tom. But she was very, very impressive last time out at Newmarket. She will relish the conditions. Couldn't be faster for her. Again, is it too soon to start worrying about the Appleby horses, given what's happened the last couple of Royal Ascots and what happened on day one?
I don't know. He didn't have a very good Ascot last year, and they didn't run brilliantly this year. But Rawling Court ran fine, didn't he? He was third. I mean, I think he's a bit better than that, but not much. Hello, doggy. I don't know. I mean, just early season form and a penalty don't make me want to back Cinderella's Dream at, 15-8.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's just, she might well win. It's just, look, I'm a contrarian. I don't back horses at that price in competitive races where you can make a case for all of them. You literally can make a case for all of them. And I'll go through them one by one. Fallen Angel's a classic winner. One looked like a superstar when she won that Stells race on her debut and was bounced back. Running Lion made all and won this. Did she win this last year? Yes, she did. El Malca's a Guineas winner. Soprano looked really good when she won the mile race here as a 3-year-old. Start of the day split Ombudsman and Map of Stars, who are short prices for the Prince of Wales's in a minute, and Crimson Advocate's a previous winner here. So you can literally make a case for all of them. So I'm not going to be with Cinderella's Dream at 15-8. I think she's the most likely winner. Personally, I thought Running Lion might just run well. I think the draw's right. She's going to get the lead, it looks like. She might just be the one. but it's not a race I've got any great opinion about, really. I thought this was really hard. I could see El Malka bouncing back, but she's installed one. And I wouldn't rule out the Frenchie. Christopher Head can do amazing things with horses. And Start of Day had some good last year. So, too hard. I think Cinderella's Dream's the most likely winner. Would I back her at 15-8? No. What would I back? Nothing is the answer to your question.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I kind of thought that until, again, I started to get into it. I mean, first off, here's a few stats for you, Tom. First time cheap pieces at Royal Ascot, 217 runners, 8 winners. In group races, 86 runners, no winners. That's in the past 25 years, I think, which I think is a fairly hefty negative against Fallen Angel and Running Lion. It does make you think, again, like with the blinkers today with Asphora, are you starting to worry about their resolution a bit? And that's all well and good, eking out a bit more, but you're in a Group 2 here against possible Group 1 horses. The one I really like, I mean, I start to look at One Look again. I mean, she's got an
Let's go.
She's got a blinding chance, hasn't she?
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before people realise that Paddy Toomey is mustard.
He is, I agree. Yeah.
People in Britain people who only follow British racing don't really know. The secret's going to be out very soon.
Well, it might be out tomorrow because he's got
I think it's going to
three.
be out tomorrow. We didn't speak like Karma's very much in the Queen's Wild, but
Yeah.
he's got the Ribblesdale. He's got that winner later in the week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I like
got the favourite
I like
in
her.
the Windsor Castle as well.
But make a case for me.
Well, no, you're obviously, you're very excited about her.
I am excited by her. She put in a performance in that Goffs Million on her debut that made you think, wow, this is a filly that can go on and dominate.
Yep.
And then last season it just never really happened. She thought, she's just not trained on sort of thing. I don't know for what reason she didn't show her best, but she's come back firing this season. Put up 2 really good times. I think if Porta Fortuna's running here, she'd be a hot favourite.
Yeah, she'd be odds on, wouldn't she, practically?
Yeah, probably, yeah. She was a shade unlucky against Porta Fortuna.
Yeah.
Sort of gave her first run, got caught in a bit of a pocket. I just think she's just very much on the up. I think this is a better race than last year, though, I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
Fallen Angel, not for me. I'm not 100% sure she's totally going to train on. She's quite precociously bred, and then Running Lion, I think she was flattered last year. Cinderella's Dream, bit short. One Look, let's go.
Yeah, all right, yeah. One Look then. First thought, best thought, One Look. Essentially the winner for the Duke of Cambridge. Yeah, I mean, Paddy Toomey again. I think he must have he's allergic to losing money on entry fees, Tom, because the James Tate similar on these shores. He seems to know exactly what race his horses are going for. He never multiply entries them, if you know what I mean. And yeah, his strike rate is very, very high because of that. Because he's not going, I tell you what, we'll try this one over 10 furlongs. He's thinking, this is a 10 furlong horse. We're going 10 furlongs. They never run badly.
No, he places his horses extremely well, doesn't he? As you guys have pointed out. Only thing the slight negative I had on him was that I'm a pedigrees man, and Glen Eagles' horses tend to be better with some giving the ground. They've got loads of horses before you say that go on firm ground, but I like them especially on soft ground, and so therefore that's why I didn't have her down as a bet, because I'm slightly concerned about very fast ground for her. If it is very fast ground, the times weren't especially fast today, and he'll throw some more water on, but it was flipping hot. My God, was it hot today, and it's going to be hotter tomorrow. So I expect it to be good to firm ground at the very worst. That would be my only slight concern.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because when Glen Eagles was racing, I remember they were always like fast ground. He never ran on soft ground, but all his progeny, it's just one of those things. We probably make too much of it overall. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, it's one of those things that it's such a complex sport anyway. But pedigrees, obviously, you don't know where the action's going. There's obviously people say, I don't know, what do they say? Speed from the side, stamina for the dam a lot of the time, that kind of thing. But you never know. We are.
It's a guess up, isn't it?
We're educated.
We're all guessing, man.
Guessing. Good to firm group and listed company past 2 years. Yeah, in terms of size, for example, Cinderella's Dream Shamadal is 3 from 13, 23% strike rate, win 62% strike rate, place. Soprano Star Spangled Banner 17% win, 28% place. Glen Eagles only 30. He's had 1 winner in group or listed company on good to firm ground, but he has had 3 others placed. So
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of horses that like it. There's plenty of horses that like it. It's just a generalised thing for me. And to be fair, One Lock hasn't really run on very fast ground. She ran once, didn't she, last year on it?
Yeah.
She got beaten by a good horse. To be fair, Wingspan was a good horse. She get beaten on it, and that's the only negative I could find for her. Of course, that's the thing. I mean, as I say, you can make a case for all of them. Wouldn't be surprised if the Frenchie ran really well.
Yeah.
Night of Thunder. She's got plenty of loads of good form last year and got caught out in a slowly run race last time. But who knows?
Okay, fair enough. I also do like a horse who I definitely know will get a little bit further. Again, it's a stiff mile on the round track. Last three renewals of this, if either two of them ran in the Oaks, didn't stay, and then dropped back the year after, and then Running Lion was second favourite for the Oaks and then dropped back. So I do think you often get, like the sprinters to the milers, in this grade, I often like the horses who we thought she might be an Oaks filly and then they drop back.
I get it, yeah.
Are a little bit classier. So, all right, so you're with One Look, I'm with One Look.
Let's go.
And Tom, you ain't sure.
I'm not with anything.
Not with anything.
I'm really not with anything. I mean, I could make a token suggestion, but I thought this was the hardest race on the card.
Don't you worry about it. There's plenty more to come. Let's have a look. Fallen Angel East off ground says Big Shug. El Malka got slaughtered by the favourite last time. Running Lion is a bit of a so-and-so. Yes, and I think we're all agreed on the Duke of Cambridge. It's a tricky one, but hopefully Paddy Toomey.
I don't think it's that tricky, mate. One Look wins next.
Yeah, I was trying to be diplomatic. I agree. I think One Look wins as well. Prince of Wales Stakes up next. A Group 1 here over 10 furlongs where Los Angeles is 9-4. Anmart 7-2. Map of Stars 7-2. Ombudsman 5s. Cedar Fire 5s. Factor Cheval 20s. Royal Champion 66. And Continuous, bless him, is 100-1, and also Certain Lad in there as well. But always an absolute crackerjack of a race, regardless of the size of the field or the fact that there are 3 or 4 horses who have next to no chance of actually winning the race. But we've got a proper Ballydoyle Lummox here as the favourite. You've got your Luxembourgs, you've got your Jan Brugels, you've got, to a certain extent, your Auguste Rodins, Tom, who seemingly, I don't know, they win dirty in these Group 1s. And Los Angeles, again, he did everything wrong in the Derby last year and he still managed to place. He comes off the bridle 3-4 furlongs from home and invites everyone to swamp him, and he still out-battles them. Ballydoyle and Ryan Moore, they're just the best in the business at getting this type of horse to win more races than they should do.
Absolutely, and you know exactly what's going to happen here, don't you? I mean, this is cast in stone, isn't it? Continuous is going to go as hard as he possibly can for as long as he possibly can, because the last thing Los Angeles wants is it to turn into a sprint, because that's not his game. He's a grinder, isn't he? And so they're going to want it to be a proper test of heart and guts and willingness and want and all those sort of words, because Los Angeles has all that in spades. He's a real tough grinder, isn't he? So they're going to make this a real test of attrition. That's what they're going to do. The question is, aren't most of his opposition better on much softer ground? For example, Anmart, Ombudsman, Factor Cheval, to name but 3, want softer ground. So I'm hoping that they go hard and old Jimmy Doyle sits around at the back like he did on French Master, comes swinging wide into the straight and pounces where Los Angeles can't see him, right up the outside, because I think the Map of Stars is a potential superstar waiting to happen. He's a pedigree of a mile and a half horse. See the Stars out of Batil, who won a Group 1 over a mile and a half. I'm expecting him to be really well suited by a strongly run race. That's the thing about these French horses. We see it in spades when Graffard brings these ones over, like Calandigan, like Goliath, is that they don't actually get a chance to run on fast ground off strong paces very often in their home. At home, of course, there's some races that are run fast, but not many. They tend to be slowly run sprint type races. I'm not sure that suits Map of Stars. Well, I think he's going to excel under the conditions that the Ballydoyle team are going to make this race, and therefore I could see him winning. I think he should have beaten Sozi last time. I think that he's the arc favourite over Los Angeles. I thought he should have beaten him last time. I think he's got a form that needs slight improving on, but only slight improving on, and I can see him winning this. And I think Los Angeles is obviously the main danger, but I also think Cedar Fire will run well. But those would be my 3, and I actually quite fancy Map of Stars to win this.
All right, Map of Stars then is a 7-2 shot. What do you make of the Prince of Wales here, Mr. Wilders?
Looking forward to it, mate. I want to get after Los Angeles because I'm not totally sure that Tattel's Gold Cup form is amazing, and we're kind of banking on that being the case with Anne Martin, sort of second favourite. Looks like Mappa Stars have come in quite a bit, actually. Anne Martin's getting on. He's 7 years old. I'm not sure that was a great champion stakes he won.
There's only one way he's going, isn't it? I mean, he's 7 years old. He's up against a load of 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds who are improving. Look, he's a good horse, but he's not going to get any better, is he?
We know where we're at with him.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're at with Mappa Stars, Ombudsman, even Los Angeles to an extent, but I prefer him over a mile and a half, really. It will be a hard race, you'd have thought. See the Fire, I thought was interesting. She's put up a crazy good time at York last time. Yeah. But just the worry is that's kind of two outliers on her CV, that and the Strenzel Stakes she won last year.
I mean, she's bred to be a York horse. Her form is York horse.
Arabian Queen, yeah.
She's got Judgment International written all over, hasn't she?
Very much so. So I think I'm against her.
Yeah.
I'll give Ombudsman a massive chance as well. It's just one of those where we'll be looking tomorrow, won't we, for a place pot buster with Los Angeles, will we?
No, I think he's my nap of the week.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think Anne Mart's 7 years old. I thought partly, did he need the run last time out, or did he just not go through with it, or did he get out battled? Probably all three. I think Mappa Stars is a really, really good horse, but I do think that coming to Ascot on really fast ground, he might relish it, like Tom says. It's definitely a possibility, but it's an if. It's definitely an if about that. See the Fire, I think, is a proper York horse. There's also, in my mind, a slight potential that she bounces off that York run as well. It was. Yeah, she might not have been, fully extended necessarily, but when horses can put in those monstrous performances, she's going to have to do it again and do it dirty, I think, tomorrow. Ombudsman it hits the ground harder than a watermelon drop from a skyscraper. I mean, he is. I mean, he is.
Trainer reckons he's going to love it. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and again, he might. But from the visual impression I had at Sandown, he's a big flat track galloper to me. I mean, so I was slightly worried whether Ascot trying to manoeuvre from box one was going to suit him, Tom. I was a slight worry about that.
Yeah, box one's an interesting angle against him, isn't it? I mean, it just is hard. From there. You just get in trouble. So that's my negative for him. Yeah. Mappa Stars is in 2, so it's not much better. But there we go.
I've got a question for you, Tom. I remember you saying about Camelot progeny, you questioned their resolve. Do you stand by that theory?
Well, I stand by it with all bar Los Angeles.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Obviously, there's outliers to every rule.
Course,
but I remember getting sucked into loads of Camelots in the Derby after they looked wildly impressive. Camelots in the Derby and Oaks. There was a horse, English King.
Pink Dogwood.
Yeah.
Pink Dogwood in the Oaks, so I had fortunes on. And then there was another one. There's a couple of Aiden. Also the one at Chester Vase and started favourite for the Derby of Aidens, which I can't remember now.
So Dragonite.
Yeah.
And went over to Australia. There's been a few. I was completely wrong about that. And there's been loads. Blue Stocking and Los Angeles in recent years.
Blue Stocking, Luxembourg, Dancing Gemini. I mean, there's quite a lot of multiple winners.
Exactly. So I've been proven completely wrong on that. So no, I am not.
Stuck your neck on the line, mate. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The thing I was completely wrong. I mean, there was like that at the time. I was against them. I liked them first up, and then I wanted to be against them the next run because I always thought they regressed.
Yeah.
But that's been proven not to be the case on numerous occasions. So that theory of mine has a big pencil line through it in my notebook.
Fair enough. But that's what theories, isn't it? You have a theory, you test it, and then you. But yeah, I mean, Los Angeles has won. He's what? He's 5 from 6 on Good or Faster, and the one defeat was 4th behind Economics and Augusta Redan in the Irish Champion when Dylan Brown McMonagle rode him, and rode him quite well. But Ryan, good ground. Ryan Moore. The problem is I've taken on these kind of horses from this yard with this jockey in these races time and time again. He came from the bridle a long way from home last time out. He nearly got beat, and every single time they turn into the home straight, Ryan Moore is on the heels of the leaders. And he's got a 1.5 mile horse over 10 furlongs, and he kicks, and he comes off the bridle, and you know that every other horse and jockey is going to come up and have a crack and have a sniff and have a think about it, and Ryan Moore's going to say, "You're not having it." So I've learned my lesson. I've been stung too many times.
Absolutely right. And the point is about that yard is you absolutely know what you're going to get.
Yes, you do.
You know the way it's going to be ridden. You know the way the race is going to go. You know that it's going to suit Los Angeles best. So you've not only got the favourite with the best jockey, but you've also got the race run to suit.
Yeah.
You're going to get it. And so therefore everything else has to be absolutely on their A game to beat them.
Yeah. You're going to have to send the National Guard in to stop him. Now, right, let's move on to the 5 o'clock then. 3 more to go. The 5 o'clock at Royal Ascot tomorrow is the Royal Hunt Cup, of course. 30 runners over the straight mile. Let's see if Tom Segal's a draw man now, as his anti-post bet is drawn 31 of 30. My Cloud 4-1, the Liffey 6-1, Greek Order 9s, Kirat 9s, Bullet Point 9s, Fox Legacy 10s, Tony Montana 11s, Arabian Light 14s, and bigger prices the rest here for the Royal Hunt Cup. We'll get to Tom in a minute because again he's probably got an anti-post ticket. I would imagine framed on the wall in expectation so he doesn't lose it. But again, we've got 30 runners here, and you've got 2 very, very well-backed horses at the top of the betting, taking chunks out of the market.
It's just one of those where you wish you're involved in either of those gambles on My Cloud and the Liffey. Otherwise, I'm not really excited to back them now. You've missed the boat a little bit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise you if either of them won, of course, but again, it's one of these races where you're going to need plenty of luck, no matter how well handicapped you are. From that side, I've found one I thought was kind of sneaky, Tokenomics.
Yep.
And if you had a look at Tokenomics, Ross, just the trainer won it with a very similar horse 7-8 years ago, Settle for Bay.
Yeah.
Very similar profile. Just very progressive. He won 4 of his last 6. Looked better than ever on his return at Cork, over 7. I know Rodders, he tells me about this theory as when there's a good speed figure and a quick finish. And this horse, the speed figure was pretty good and the finish was fast, and he came from sort of last at one point and won it quite readily in this Cork race. That was never going to be the big target, was it? He's got winning form over 9 furlongs.
Yeah.
I thought he was very interesting, and he's drawn by the Liffies and the My Clouds. So if those guys are ahead, I'd like to think that we are going to get some each way returns.
Yeah, agreed. He was 8th in that really good race at York last year, where annoyingly Treasure Time won it and has been balloted out of this, but. You had Voltaire in 2nd, who's about a stone higher. You had Apiarist in 4th, who's about a stone higher. You had Pabarus in 7th, who's about a stone higher. So
it's red hot form.
It was red hot form, and he reminds me. Yeah, like you said, he's got Settle, but he also reminds me a bit of Portage, who won this for Mickey Halford.
Yeah, Mick Halford,
Very similar type. But again, well handicapped Irish Raiders in big handicaps. Robbie's on one of them. Tell us why you're another. I mean, you kind of. You're a bit of a hide into nothing here, Tom, because you can talk up your chances of the Liffey. It's great for your anti-post column, but everyone's going to come on and go, oh, it's all well and good telling us now about a 6-1 shot, even though you did tell people in your
He's
article.
a bad price. He's a false price. He's a bad price. I expect him to be bigger tomorrow, quite a bit bigger. Going back to the draw, when's the last time I was drawn in the 30s, won or finished in the first 4? In a Hunt Cup, I can't remember. I remember backing one called Sinjari a few years ago. I thought it was the certainty of all certainties. Drawn 33, and he got nowhere near he came 3rd. He won its side by a long way, never came anywhere near it. And that was the year that everyone was running up underneath his side. I don't see. I was there today. In the sprint there was a bit of a draw bias, perhaps, but I don't know. I just think I always think it's. I'm not a pace guy. I'm not a draw guy, and it's because you can't predict it beforehand. If everyone knew that there was a high draw bias, everyone would have come that side. The punters would have backed everyone that side, and it just seemed to me like it was just a set of circumstances. So I don't give a damn about the draw where I'm drawn in any of these races.
I know what you mean, but I would say in a race of this nature. You're more likely to get buried and get a nice toe into it if you're on a rail. I don't want my jockey having to make a choice in a way. I don't want him to be like, I might go right, I might go left, and then end up making the wrong choice. If you're drawn 28 or higher, you're not going middle, are you?
No, but that doesn't mean you're in the right place, does it?
No, I'm just saying, but it means you're not. A lot. I think what gets horses beat. I mean, we saw an American Affair at Haydock, for example. Paul Mulrennan, I felt like, I don't want to go down that rail. I'm not sure. That kind of got him beat at Haydock. Today, he didn't really have that much of a choice, and it was very different. I would prefer, I prefer your horse than your jockey just to be like, we're drawn here. That's our mind.
Absolutely, but But for example, the two Sideburns are all recent winners of this, Real World and what's the other one called?
Wild Tiger.
Wild Tiger last year.
Yeah.
They just ran to their draw. Real World, I know he was well handicapped. He was in stall 4. Everything was supposed to come up the near side. He won by blimmin' miles.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But he was drawn in 4, so he made that decision.
Aren't they all going to do what Ryan Moore did on the Coventry and just ride their races? Do you think everything's going to come to the near side? I don't.
No, I don't. I think you remember. No, that's exactly. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying I think the low draws will go that way. I think the high draws will go this way. Real World, when he won, was drawn 4, and he beat 27, 30, and 33. But they went. The high draws went here. The low draws went there. I just don't want to be stuck in the middle, trying to make.
But that's where Wild Tiger and Jimi Hendrix went when they won.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So all I'm saying is that I hate saying this is going to happen, and then sort of forcing my thinking into what might happen in a race and being. Yeah. It's nothing worse than being wrong about a draw. It's nothing worse. I think it's the worst feeling you can have as a punter. It's great when you get it right, and boy, do we hear about it when people get it right. But when they get it wrong, we never hear a peep. And
I don't know if it's the worst feeling. I'm trying to think. The worst feeling as a punter is failed to weigh in. I think that's the worst feeling as a punter.
What about getting hampered on a run in an Aintree on a 50-1 shot that's 5 clear by the only loose horse in the race?
Yeah, to be fair,
I'm not bitter about it.
Still filthier.
Not bitter about it.
I think about that every day, mate.
Yeah, and then every other day, Robbie thinks about the place bar on day 1 of Royal Ascot last year, but I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah,
anyway, look, never mind that.
Ever again.
Look, we've got on so many. I was trying to make a very simple point. We've ended up making a very complicated point, and I'm still not sure what it is. So, what else has got a chance in the race?
Well, my Cloud's got an obvious chance. I think he's time form stone well in or whatever. Do I want to back him at 4-1 from 32? No. Greek Order was like the rage. He was going to be a Group 1 horse, wasn't he? Just before the Cambridgeshire, when he got done on the line. So he's been to America and back. I don't know about him. Kirat's got good form. Does he a miler? I don't know. Bullet Points right on the far side. Is he going to be in the right place? Who knows? I thought Fox Legacy was my fancy. I just thought he's a very solid horse that won the best trial for this race last time by a long way, in very good style. He's getting better. He's with a trainer. He's with a top trainer. He's got Oisin Murphy on. I think he's drawn 12, is he? I think that's perfect. If I could choose, that's where I'd be, right in the middle. No worries about it. And so for me, I just thought Fox Legacy was going to run a solid race in a very difficult race. The other horse I thought might be underestimated was the top one, Arabian Light, who was 3rd in the same race. He chased home Osborne on his debut, actually. The two of them were well clear on his debut at Newmarket one time, or it might have been Osborne's debut, and maybe not his, I'm not sure. But I thought he'd run well too. So they would be. I like Fox Legacy. I back the Liffey. I'm very scared of My Cloud. I'm not worried about the draw.
All right, okay. I fancy Fox. Again, I'm not. I wasn't saying I wasn't worried about the draw. I really don't know why.
I know, but lots of people are, because I was at the race.
No, we haven't got time. We haven't got time to keep talking about the draw. We've got to move on. I really fancy Fox Legacy as well. I think he's got a cracking chance. He's won twice. He's run twice on fast ground. Good ground. It was not good ground last time. It was fast ground at Newmarket. He's won twice on good ground by 12 lengths and by 2.5 lengths. I love horses again in this who stay further. Horses who've won over 10 furlongs in the Hunt Cup. Well, 5 from 57 if you backed them blind. It'd be 28 quid level stake profit. He's got the speed for a mile and he stays further, and he's got a cracking pedigree as well. I mean, he was second to Matt Sawrey, who was 4th in the Irish Derby last year at Leicester. And the other one I thought was really interesting, very similar-ish profile, was Ancient Rome. Thought he had a big chance. He's finished 2nd in the Summer Mile last year. He improved £30 for his debut. He was beaten outside his debut this year, but clearly a horse who needs that first run. And again, Ascot form, fast ground form. Jamie Spencer in the saddle. I know Alphonse Legrand wasn't the best of rides today, but straight mile at Ascot, he's mustard. So there. Anyway, we're still talking about the Hunt Cup.
Yeah, let's forget. I was going to say Epictetus has come down to a good mark as well, but we could just sit here all night, couldn't we?
No. Talk about it, because
I did have a good look at him. He brings the My Cloud strand of form. Safi Osborne rides. He's got a great record at the Ascot straight track. But he was just rated 112, 114, and he's down to 101.
He was a big eye catcher last time.
And he stays further, as you allude to.
Kingman at Ascot, always a good one.
Oh yes, like
Yeah.
him.
And again, pedigrees, Kingman, Thistlebird, and of course the Osborne's won.
Thistlebird won a Group 3 at Ascot, I believe.
Yeah, she won loads at least in group races.
Oh, plenty, yeah.
And they won with Hickory, a similar sort of
Victoria
buy from
Cup.
the yard earlier in the season.
Yeah, let's move on, shall we?
All right, okay. Anyway, the other 10 in the Hunt Cup are... It's all right, guys, let's move on anyway. So we'll rattle on and rattle through this 24-runner straight mile handicap, the 5:35. It's the Kensington Palace Stakes, are the fillies here. And Rainbow's Edge is 4-1 favourite. Arola is 7-1. Sky Safari 7-1. Araseg is 8. Serialised 9s. Kayana 14s. Julia Augusta 16s with misinformation and bigger prices at the rest. And again, we've got another Ryan Moore in the silks of the King, of course.
Buick.
In a Buick, sorry, of course, riding a Rainbow's Edge. Really interesting horse, really interesting pedigree. Dan was a bit of a fruitcake towards the end of her career, but she's bred some very, very nice horses, and this has looked the plan for her.
It's not the plan, but the price doesn't really interest me. Again, it's one of those, if you got on board on any sort of anti-post move, then fair play, but 4-1 in a 24-runner field, nah, mate. Having said that, I quite like Arola, who's only 3 points bigger. She did have an entry in the Duke of Cambridge, that decided to come here, exploit the handicap mark. Just already got listed form. She split a horse rate 107, Jabara, good filly, and a horse rate 106 at Gavin Cromwell's last time on a return at Muscle, but that's good form. Come a long way quite quickly. Sent off favourite to beat Sparks Fly in the mud in Saint-Cloud after only making a debut like 3 months earlier. There's obviously a massive reputation there, and it's just the kind of horse that wins this race, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it's a Kingman out of a Frankel Dam.
And we love that pedigree.
Love that pedigree. You'll be hoping for a big run from Serialise as well with the tokenomics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Form, that you might related each way double
Related
potentially.
double. Don't tempt me.
And
you could tempt me.
Skakusa would have been well fancied for the Hunt Cup if he
not
turned
running,
up.
but don't tempt me.
Yeah, so well, I might tempt you. I am tempting
You're going to, aren't you? You have.
I'm tempting you right now. It's exactly what I'm doing. You should do it because you'll regret it if you don't. Okay. Quicker than the Hunt Cup, Mr. Segal. What did you like in this?
Serialise, I thought they had a good chance. She's out the handicap. She's £3 out the handicap last time. So she's actually racing £3 lower than when second to Sakusa. She had some good horses behind her. The horse that was sixth ran a cracker at Epsom the other day. I can't remember its name, but it was grey and it was trained by Kevin Coleman. And I thought she had a chance. Jessica Harrington won this 2 years ago with a very similar filly. She's in 24, so who knows whether that's good or bad. The other one I thought was Safi Osborne. She's drawn right on the other side. Trap 1, Sky Safari. Big fan of James Fanshawe at Ascot. Love the way this horse is ridden. She is always ridden from off the pace. She stays a mile well. She's unexposed, well handicapped. Those were my two.
All right. I quite like Snellen in this. I thought she was going to run a big race. Again, we talked about Gavin Cromwell, as you said earlier in the year. Tom winning 5 furlong Ascot races and Gold Cups and pretty much everything. 3 from 6 on fast ground. She won the Chesham. She'd be running over in Bahrain, but those Bahrain races are. The more you look at them, the more competitive they look, and she's got tokenomics form from last year as well. So
I get it.
It's all starting to come together. And hello to Chris, who says, I'm not interacting with the comments. I'm not, because we're too busy arguing about the draw in the Hunt Cup, Chris, obviously. He's gone for Paris Carver, Running Lion, Ancient Rome, and Tough Critic, which you apparently are, Chris. Thank you very much. As for everyone else, Kayana and Serialise for Mike Boy, and Cliff says Araseg and Rose Prick. I'm assuming that's a tip and you've not just misspelled my name. Right, okay, moving on then. Last race on the card is the Windsor Castle Stakes. Rogue Legend, 9-2 favourite. Rogue Supremacy, 5-1. Old is Gold, 11-2. First Approach, 7-1. Utmost Respect, 8-1. 10-1 Havana Hurricane. 12-1 Jan Steen and Tough Critic, and bigger prices the rest. For 23 runners, rattling over 5 furlongs at Royal Ascot for the 2-year-olds. And let's not talk about the draw, but 27 beat 26 and 22 last year for the Windsor Castle. And yeah, the Rogues are going to be hoping that doesn't happen, because Rogue Legends in 6 and Rogue Supremacies in 12. I'll be honest, I didn't fancy either of these two.
Not really, no, me neither. I had this between two. Utmost Respect and Havana Hurricane.
Okay.
Havana Hurricane ran really well in the Woodcut at Epsom. Sort of didn't look like he liked the track at all. He made a lot of ground from off the pace, and then his run fizzled out, dropping back to stiff 5. Fine. Utmost Respect He's Richard Fahey. I just respect him a lot in these kind of sprints. This horse would be well, he's come in a bit, but I think they're kind of underestimating the fact that he didn't win on his debut at York. He should have won that race by daylight, really.
Yeah.
Just nothing went right. They were 2 for me.
Although my heart can't let him win because he's not Utmost Respect. Utmost Respect was a Richard Fahey sprinter from 15 years ago who was a group horse in his own right.
I've never heard of that horse.
He was
Do you remember the day, Ross, when he won the Air Silver Cup and that was a good day. He was like 12s into about 3s and he won by about 10 lengths. It was fantastic.
He was one of your big tips, wasn't he? One of that time where you were basically opening the paper, looking at big field handicaps and going, that'll win, and then they were going off 5-2 favourite. He was one of those.
What you said that was the time, wasn't? Oh, jeez, Ross, not you digging me out as well.
You're a spent force man. That Camelot theory.
I'm saying, Tom. You went through such a golden patch that it is impossible.
That was a good day. He was a brilliant horse, though. He was a group sprinter, wasn't he? He was. I get it. I'm with you. I hate. It's the same owners as well.
It's the same owners, I think. Yeah. I mean, fair play to him. Look, if they like the name,
at least call him like Davis Love the Third or Utmost Respect the Second or something. You know,
yeah,
like the Americans do in the American footballers. They've all got a 2 and a 3 on their back.
Utmost Respect Junior, perhaps. But yeah.
Exactly.
What did you like in this? Are you giving Havana Hurricane another chance?
Yeah, I got to stick to my trackers. I liked him at Goodwood. I thought he was really good at Goodwood. The second and the third have won since. Everything went wrong at Epsom. It was that day, wasn't it? It was Oaks Day where you couldn't make up ground. It was a weird. The surface was weird, wasn't it? At Epsom over the 2 days, you couldn't really make up ground around the bend at all. But he did it. He made a really quick move from 3 to 2 to sort of get in front of the £7 billion Godolphin horse or whatever it was. Maximise was it called? I can't remember. But he made a good move and got upsides him and then tied in the last furlong. I think a stiff a stiff 5 will be perfect for him. The question is will he be over that? You know, he seemed to finish quite tired. It wasn't that long ago, was it? So if he's over that, I give Havana Hurricane a good chance. Yeah, and I get the utmost respect. There's loads of them. Oldest Gold look pretty good to me as well up at Beverley. So it's a wide open race.
Yeah, Woodcut Stakes 0 from 17 coming into the Windsor Castle. Not a huge sample size, but it's fairly quick, isn't it? Fairly quick turnaround.
They did win. He did win. Didn't Mark Johnson's horse win the Woodcut and then win the Coventry?
Buratino, was that? No.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, just not this race.
So not this race.
Couple on the chat. The Mighty Gomez says Dickensian, like Ross's jokes. I don't know, mate. I thought you all had great expectations for my jokes.
Hey.
I think he's genuinely got a chance though, Dickensian. He was really impressive at Musselburgh, and he went off stupidly fast here last time out, but he was still sort of in front-ish in the final 100 yards. I don't know if it was a decision to kind of use his experience and grab the rail and try and burn everything else off, but it backfired. But he went way too quick, and he still wasn't beaten very far. If they can just restrain him a bit, I do think 28-1's a bit big for the yard who won this last year. And everyone's been talking about that Oldest Gold Naval Light form as well. And if Naval Light's really fancy for the Norfolk, then Oldest Gold's got to go close here.
Related double.
They're all stacking up. Okay, and that's just about it. Logie Bear for Daniel Hone each way potentially in this last. Okay, right. We'll get the naps in a second. Don't forget to sign up to Racing Post Plus and get a discount as well if you put your favourite tipster's surname followed by 10. So Wilders 10, Segal 10. It's up to you. And like I said, the one who gets the least by the end of the week gets fired.
It's me, innit? And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we're joking, of course. But you get a discount. You get a discount on that if you sign up to Racing Post Plus. Right, here's an ad, then the naps. Day 2 of Royal Ascot then. What are our best bets? Starting off with you, Mr. Robbie Wilders.
One look. Duke of Cambridge 340 at Ascot. Don't miss it.
Lovely stuff. I'm glad you went. I thought you were going to overthink it then, but you're right. Okay, going in. Okay, Tom, what about you?
I'm going to give you Los Angeles, Ross. You can have Los Angeles on me. So I'm going to go for Sky Safari in the 5:35.
All right, fair enough. Thank you very much, my good man. Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I think the Los Angeles is the one horse I looked at all week and thought, well, he'll win that. So yeah, again, first thought, best thought, everything's lining up for him. I do think Los Angeles will win, and I'm hoping that Stayer or Spicy Marge win the Queen Mary. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Spicy Marg.
Spicy Marge.
That's one thing I will say. I know I got exposed earlier, but that horse's name is not spelled Marge, it's Marg.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
So that misled me somewhat. So don't rule me out of tipping point just yet.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, okay, lovely stuff. Yeah, of course, it's not margarine unless you've got a cold. Right, okay, we'll be back for more tomorrow night. See you then. And like the stream, like it now.